Hello and welcome to Bite Size Security. My name is Jimmy, and today I'm going to be going into another technical video. In particular, we're looking at a box called Busqueda by Hack2Box, and this is meant to be an easy box, but it is one of TJ Knoll's list to prepare for OSCP. We have in the past done Jeeves, and we did another Proving Grounds video, and this is the third video where we do Busqueda. And going forward, we'll go Linux to Windows to Linux to Windows to Linux. So the next video will most probably be active, also by Hack2Box. But now let's get into Busqueda. So we'll start as usual by creating a folder. I was already doing that. Busqueda, and then inside of that we'll create enum, loot, privesc, and exploit, like so. Then also in our notes, we'll have created a root folder. In there as well, we'll create enum. Inside of enum, we'll create internal. Inside of enum, again, we'll create external. So for internal enumeration and external enumeration, then we'll create privesc as a note. Another note called loot, and another note called overall information, and then one called privesc, exploit, sorry, there you go. Those are all inside of enum. That was not correct, so let's just take them out, like so. Perfect. So inside of here we can create overall entry point, and it will just take our IP, put it here like this, and then we'll go and do nmap initial. So as usual, we'll run scan just as a Rust scan quickly on the IP, sorry, just to see what we're working with, port 22 and port 80. And while that is running, we'll do sudo auto recon debuster tool gobuster on our IP. Let's not do that like this. Let's go first into boxes, Busqueda. Okay, so Busqueda, like that. Go inside of it, and then exploits like this, and then we go into enum, and then here we'll do sudo auto recon debuster tool gobuster on our IP. Then here we'll do that just again. So port 22 and port 80. So while this is running, we'll just open a new pane, and we'll open Sublime Text on our main root, like so. And there should already be a bit of content there. Let's check out the scans. We have nothing yet. Let's look at our Rust scan. So yeah, we definitely have port 22, which again I suspect will not be our entry point, and we have port 80. What we can already do is open up Firefox and navigate to that IP just to check it out. And we have trouble finding the sites. Okay, so I can start with a screenshot here right away. Let's do this, screenshot, like so. And then let's go into notes, external, new notes. And then here we'll either way create HTTP and 22 SSH. We're front running a tiny bit because of the nmap scan. The auto recon scan is a bit slow, but here usually we'll do nmap, and then we'll do SSH audit. There you go. And then here's what we'll do nmap. And I will now create screenshot. And the reason why I take a screenshot of this is because we have a domain, and that domain is not in our hosts file, so we cannot go to it, we cannot navigate to it. So what we can do is go to this pane down here and just open our hosts file. I have an alias for it, so we'll open our hosts file, copy our IP address, and say searcher.hackthebox, but then also busqueda.hackthebox, like so. And now we should be able to navigate to it. There you go. Okay. Let's take a screenshot of this. Oh, I pressed like so. Okay, so once the domain has been to our host file, there you go. Let's cycle back a tiny bit and look at our nmap scan, overall information. Let's paste that here. And then let's go into both ports. So let's start with the SSH. Go to SSH and map and post it here as usual. Then let's also run SSH audit on, nope, SSH audit like so on our ports, on our IP, and then let's save that to initial. And let's also do sudo chown. Yes, recursively dynamo. Let's do that for the entire root, like so. And then we will do clean initial, save that into results, scans, port 22, like this, but we will call it SSH audit, just so that we have a clean, neat organization of all our files. Even though SSH audit doesn't belong to the auto recon scan, I still want to save the SSH audit input there because it's just cleanly and neatly organized, like so. And then we can remove initial, like so. Okay, and then we'll take this output, sorry, and we'll paste it here. As usual, I don't believe SSH is the entry point. It's much more likely that on this box, the HTTP is the avenue that we need to explore. So let's start with the nmap. Let's go here, take that, paste it there. And then let's take the other tools. So we have curl. And from now on, I will put curl robots and curl into the same just because. So I'll make a tiny bit of space and I'll paste that there like that. GoBuster, nothing to be found. Let's make a note of that. GoBuster, nothing to be found, like that. And then known security. Like so. And then Nikto. Like so. And then what else? We have WhatWeb. Like that. And then WhatWeb. Okay, with that being done, let's look at this page that we found here. And actually, let's also open Burp Suite, because I believe we might have some input here that we can fiddle with. So let's just be open on Burp Suite to be sure. Let's do the proxy to Burp and run this again. HTTP. So let's try and do something here. What does this do? Search anything with Searcher. The capabilities range from social media platform, blah, 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 and to much more. Choose from a huge collection of search engines. Okay, so it's basically a search engine. You simply select the engine you want to use, you type the query you want to be searched, finally you hit the search button to submit the query. If you want it to get redirected automatically, you tick this box. Then you will be automatically redirected to the selected engine with the results of the query you searched for. Otherwise, you will get the URL of your search, which you can use however you wish. Let's try and see if this works as it says it works. So test without auto redirect, and it gives me the URL. Fair enough. Or if I say test with the redirect, then it will redirect to Google. Okay. And here we have the request. So let's fiddle with this request a tiny bit. Should we input a special character? Okay. We get a 2. Oh, okay. So when it's auto redirect and a special character, then it just redirects with the special character. Now, what if we do that without the auto redirect? Like so. Okay, URL encodes and it doesn't render, we'll do that later, and it doesn't render anything. Interesting. So what does that mean? That means that the apostrophe input, if we input a special character into the searcher, it interprets it directly server side. So essentially, I believe we can inject something into here because it doesn't like me inputting this special character. So what could we do? How do we test? Do we know if it's SQL or Python? Okay, let me try that. So dash 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 like this, and then let's URL encode this. We can fiddle with this. It doesn't really tell me if it's SQL or Python, but I think that I have another idea. Let's see if this searcher version is vulnerable, because I do believe we can inject in here, and surely if that is the case, then we have a vulnerable version here with searcher. So let's Google that. Let's Google that. But first, let's take some notes. So we take this, we put it into here, and then we say, let's see if R is correct, and there might be a public exploit for this. I wish I knew how to exploit this manually right off the bat right now, but I am not IppSec. And let me just check out if there is something online, and if not, we can try and do it manually back again, but we'll see. So, Searcher 2.4.0, and indeed we have an exploit for Searcher 2.4.0, arbitrary command injection. Okay, so indeed someone found a vulnerability in there, and as we can see, indeed it is Python, and there is an eval function, as we can see here, and eval is evil. So there's a vulnerability where we can inject arbitrary Python commands into that function. And so let's look at this code really quick. And so yeah, it has a default ports, declare, then reverse shell, a standard reverse shell that it then encodes into base 64 here. And then in the eval commands, it injects first the Python code, and then it echoes this variable that it defined there, decodes it in base 64, and then executes it with bash. And if we run this, we should get a reverse shell. It's a pretty standard reverse shell injection. Arbitrary command injection rather. So let's try and execute this. Meanwhile, this is done. So let's do the chown one more time, just to be 100. Like so. And then we can go back and we go into exploit, and we go into our nodes, and we can say into our exploit we go, and we take this exploit, and we say potential avenue for exploitation, arbitrary command injection, eval function, like so. And so let's try and execute this exploit. So let's open a second pane. Here we can listen on 1337 because we're lead, and here we'll do git clone, and we'll take this repo and clone it here, and then we'll go into it. There you go. We'll give it a bit more permissions, and we'll execute it just to see what it needs. So it needs the target, the attacker IP, so our IP, the target, so the URL, and our ports, so 1337. So let's do that. We'll do exploit, we'll do searcher, then we'll take our IP and 1337, and if this works, then we should have a reverse shell right away. And boom, we do. Let's take a screenshot. Okay. Bam. We have a shell. So this was relatively easy right off the bat. We found a website that had a search engine that we could input anything into, and that one did not like us inputting special characters. Why? Because it was a Python program and it was directly interpreting our special characters. And why? Because they were not sanitized. And so we are able to inject Python commands, which we didn't do manually, but we did using an exploit that is publicly available. And yeah, so we now have a reverse shell. Let's go into this pane, make it big, and then let's now clean our shell. So get an interactive shell. So we have notes for this. Let's copy this, because I always just copy this, and then Control Z, stty raw dash echo foreground, and then export term xterm 256 color. Is that correct? Yes, that sounds correct. And bash. There we go. So let's see what we have here. We have a Git folder. Interesting. Templates and the app. So I'm guessing this is the Python app that the site is running. That would make sense. No. Okay, this is some other app. And then what else do we have? We have template. And then here we have index.html. So now interesting. So let's talk about this Git folder. Let's go internal, enumeration, and let's take this. So once it took me an hour to find a Git folder. I looked everywhere on the box and I was supposedly at an impasse, but then I found a Git folder, and from there I was able to move forward with that box. I don't remember which one that was, but I won't make that same mistake today. So what I do know is that when I have gits, I immediately do git log. Fatal, detected dubious ownership in repository. To add an exception for the, okay. So let's just add this and do git log again. So we have one command. Okay, and so now what else can I do? Git config list. So these are the two commands that I do when I find Git. You find a .git folder. So and it seems we have found credentials. So that is very nice. Okay. And we have found credentials for gitea.searcher.htb. Okay, two things. So first we write down credentials like so, and then we also have a subfolder. Let's take all of this like so, paste it here like so, and we have a subfolder. So let's go into another pane and go into our host file and say Gitea searcher .hack the box. Let's save this and let's try and navigate to that page. And indeed, we find a Gitea page. Painless self-hosted Git service. Okay, so I'm guessing this is like a GitHub. I don't really know what Gitea is. Not a subfolder, but a subdomain. And it's called gitea.searcher.hackthebox. So we added it to our host file and we navigate towards it. So we can sign in. Let's try. Cody. With the credentials we have found. Copy, paste. And we are in. Okay. Well, first, right off the bat, we can confirm there's an administrator with an initial commit. Okay, so that's just the app.py. We created a branch. Yeah, okay. So that is just what we see on the file. On the folder, sorry, that we got on when we executed the reverse shell. So we saw www app. That is exactly what we see here. That was committed by the administrator. So not really anything on this repo. So where were we? We have credentials. Let's enumerate further. sudo-l. Password for service. Okay, let's test. Let's enumerate. Okay, let's just take these credentials. Okay, perfect. Like this. So after further enumeration, we find that Cody credentials have been reused. We can run sudo-l. Let's do this like this. And paste this output in here. Okay, so we can run this script, this Python script, systemcheckup.py as root. So let's do that. And it takes an asterisk. What's that? Okay. I guess the asterisk is just a placeholder for anything. Yes. Okay. So the script needs an action, which is one of these three, I'm guessing, and then an argument or two. This we can close. So let's try this out. Let's do docker ps. We have two Docker containers, one called Gitea and one called MySQLDB. Okay. Let's enumerate this DB. So we have port 3306 listening, but it's not on this local host. because, well, at least this user cannot see it. Yeah, I learned that recently. Yeah, because when the user can see it, you have a process written here. And so for all of these, it's either running as root or we just don't see it, basically. So the MySQL, where should that be? Let's go into var. HTML. No, I don't believe there will be a DB. Okay, whatever. So let's just go back to what we were doing. Docker inspect. Okay. Oh, I forgot something. Let's go first to the home folder of this user.txt. I always forget. I always go straight for further enumeration and potentially Privesc, but I should slow it down a bit. So here we have user.txt. So you can obviously take that and input it. I'm not going to show it, but yeah. So where were we? We had Docker inspect that we just executed. Inspect. Okay, so we need a format and a container name. The container name we have, which is here. Let's take this and paste that here. And then Docker inspect. Format. Let's go with that. Docker inspect format. My internet's slow. That's always annoying. Docker inspect. So the usage will render results in a JSON array. Okay. If it always renders in JSON, why do we need a format? Oh, I see. Get a subsection in JSON format. Okay, can we just do this? Docker inspect -- format JSON. JSON config. So -- formats like this, double squiggly brackets, close them, JSON. And then name, it was name, right? Yeah, Gitea. Wrong number of args for JSON. Dots config. Map has no entry for key config. Just do it like this. Oh wow, okay, that's great. So this is definitely JSON. Let's take this. Yes, and then let's go like this. Let's zoom back in for you guys, and we go back to Privesc, and then we touch Gitea.js, And inside of our Sublime text, we can close this. Collapse, prevess, gitea.js. We can paste all of this. Save, and then we can cat gitea, pipe that into JQ. Invalid numeric literal at line 1, column 10. Oh, that might be this. Okay. Let's see if that, yes, that works. Okay, so let's pipe that into gitea clean.js. There you go. And then let's read. Database type MySQL, and we have credentials. Okay, let's go. Let's take a step back and take notes. We have run docker inspect with the following command. That's the one that worked. There you go. And then we got that output. We received a JSON output. Cleaned it up. And found credentials. Like I said, the notes are mine, so even if they don't make sense maybe to you or whatever, they make sense to me. And it's mostly so that I later can, sorry about that, just adjust the light. It's just so that I can understand what I'm doing. But back to it, we have credentials. So let's take these, go to Loots, and let's see. We have credentials. Let's confirm if these credentials are the administrator credentials. That would of course be amazing. Administrator. Yes, they are. Amazing. Okay. So let's take a screenshot. Like so. Go into our notes. Enumeration. These credentials are gitea creds for admin. Like so. Okay, let's go into these repositories. We have one repository called scripts. We've got checkports.py, full checkup, install Flask, and system checkup.py. Let's go inside of these. This just checks for port on a host. No, I don't think that is of any use to us. Full checkup. Docker containers. This checks if a host is up or down. It checks if searcher is up or down. Okay, so it's a checkup for the searcher web page. Okay. Nothing interesting here. Install Flask. I doubt it. Doesn't look like it. What about system checkup? Here we have a Python script. Full checkup Docker. Okay. So this is the same. Damn it. Okay, let me do this again. Go back to exploit. I lost my shell. Oh, there you go. Like that. I have to be running shell. Listen, sorry. Like this. And here clean up like that. Now I can cancel this and I need to clean my shell again. Let's be more careful this time, Jimmy. Like this. Control C, STTY, raw. Echo, foreground, export term, xterm, color, and bash. There you go. Okay, where were we? Sudo -l. Let's take those credentials that we found before and put them here. Okay, so this script is the same one that we just found here. So let's analyze it a tiny bit. So it runs the if we run the commands, it will need 3 actions, either one of 3 actions. These actions are, like we said before, full checkup, docker ps, and docker inspect. And then it defines the process for each action. So it takes the parameter action and then it needs the arguments. argv. So docker inspect, format container. If you don't give it to it, then it will say something went wrong. That's this one. Then there is docker ps. It will just print run command. Arglist. It will just run arglist. Oh, right. Okay, it will just run ps. It will just run docker ps. Okay, fair. Makes sense. So it will just list the docker containers. What about full checkup? We actually never ran full checkup. Let's do sudo like this and then full checkup. Something went wrong. Okay. What went wrong? Full checkup, arglist, full checkup.sh. So essentially, you run full checkup, and there's a full checkup.sh binary, and it's running from its current working directory. And if not, then something went wrong. Its current working directory. Okay, but we are not. Okay, so where is this file? Locate full. Of course not. So we need to enumerate a tiny bit more. Let's go into temp. No, let's go into the root. No, let's go into opt scripts. Okay. And in here we have the 4 scripts. Okay, so we have full checkup. Let's try and now run this again. And it works. Okay, so we have now confirmed that the third command only runs if we are in the same working directory as full checkup. So what we could do is maybe go into temp, because we can write into temp, make dir, because, okay, so essentially it doesn't say what path full checkup has to be in. So if we create our own full checkup, then we should be able to run this as root and make full checkup run and run as root. So let's try and create our own full checkup down here. Okay, let's go here, privilege escalation. Okay, so copy. Will only run if from the same path as full checkup.sh. Like so. And then let's take a screenshot of this code. Let's paste that here. We should be able, oh, no absolute path is given. We should be able to create our own binary with the same name but a reverse shell. Let's try that. Let's go into privesc and let's create touch full checkup.sh. That is the name, correct? Full checkup.sh, yes. Okay, so now we can go into here and paste a reverse shell. I have one, a Python reverse shell. Yes, this one should be okay. I have amazing notes. My notes are getting better by the day. Oh shit, sorry. Let's paste our own IP into here. And then let's host the file. Server 123. Something went wrong. So we can confirm something went wrong because full checkup is not there. So now what we can do is we get like so our own IP, like so 1 2 3 4, like so full checkup .sh. That is downloaded. Let's give it more permissions, like so. Okay, if I am correct, that should now work. Listen on 1337, because as usual, you know the drill, we are very elite. And so now let's run it. Boom! We are root. I believe that worked. So, who am I? Root ID, nice. Ifconfig, okay, that screwed it up a bit. And then let's do ls. Oh, we need to go to the root directory. And then here we should have root.text. Let's pipe that. And yes, we did it. That was rather easy, I must say. Yeah, this has been Busqueda. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the support. I really appreciate it. And there's nothing left to say. We have root. So I'll see you guys in a bit. Peace.